You know who I am?
Anything you say. Anything you say.
It's official.
What's up, YouTube? This is your boy Thomas back again with another rendition of Truth Be Told. Now, nothing major going on this week except for the big news as far as political wise or whatever. Elon dropped the bomb when he showed that that there have been interference in the elections by the Democrats or the demon rats, however you want or feel about them. And he's got more coming along the way down the pipeline. They can't detest it, but they're trying to ignore it like it never existed, like they're turning the other way and pretending like it never happened. Your mainstream media and such, which is the reason why people don't trust our government or media anymore, the news, because they're opinion writers. They're not real journalists anymore. So you can't trust anything the mainstream media tells you. There's been videos where it shows where one media outlet will pick something up, and then all of a sudden, every single one of these media outlets are, like CBS, NBC, ABC, whatever, they're all talking the same thing. It's the same damn story. That's because they pass it around. And, he also showed that the FBI was involved in all that shit. Our FBI's corrupt as fuck, But whatever. Demon rats will continue to try to ignore it along with mainstream media. But the truth's out there. Go get fucked. We know the truth, and you guys are just hiding it, trying to ignore it. Anyways, that's the big news I saw. I want to get on to something else. I just saw this past week, and like some of you probably saw them, they just dropped several trailers to several different upcoming movies. The first one I saw was Indiana Jones 5, which they should have stopped at number 3. But whatever, and they've gone full on woke. Disney's running it. They want to give it to a feminist at the end, and there's a bunch of time travel involved. The trailer looks like dog shit, but whatever, floats their boat. It's woke as fuck. Just fair warning. The next one I saw was Guardians of the Galaxy. You know how I feel about Disney. Can't stand Disney. They suck ass. They own Marvel. At least the MCU anyway, for sure. But the movie didn't look all that bad. It looked okay. We'll see once it comes out. The next one I saw was the new Transformers Beast Wars, even though they're calling it Rise of the Beast, whatever. It's Beast Wars. I don't know much about the Beast War. I didn't watch the cartoons of Beast Wars, so I don't know anything really about them. I I can't tell you if the trailer looked okay, but you never know until you watch the movie. So we'll see how that one goes. I don't remember any others that came out. I think that was it for the most part. There might have been one or two others that I haven't mentioned, but that was pretty much most of the trailers that were dropped. And I was just like, yeah, maybe. Now, they did put out the first 2 episodes of the woke trash Disney Willow. It's woke as fuck, I'm telling you right now. They've got that retarded actress with the red hair from, Falcon Winter Soldier, playing another fucking character where she's this kick-ass chick who's a badass fighter, fucking retarded. They've taken the guy, the prince, who should be the fighter, and made him into like this, mama's boy, don't listen to anybody. He runs around, just fucks all the girls. He's prissy prancy, He knows a little bit of sword technique, and that's about it. And then they swapped in the princess to be the badass, responsible, the older one, the older brother, blah, 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 role. It's just fucking retarded. They made Willow look like he's, I don't know, the character looks like he's dumber than shit. The way they portray him. I feel really sorry for Warwick Davis. Even though he's getting paid to do it, it's still fucked up that they would do that to his character. But anyways, I'm telling you, the whole thing is just woke as fuck. It's stupid. Of course, you got to have the token lesbian lovers in there and shit, the gay people. It's fucking dumb. Dumb ass shit. Anyways, if you love the movie, the good movie that they did, do not watch the series because it's just going to piss you off. Because they trash everything about Willow. Okay. Last thing, the main thing I want to talk to you about is I just got done watching an old TV series that lasted from 1968 to 1970. It was, LA did 2 seasons. It's a sci-fi, and it was called Land of the Giants. Now, you had, the main characters, the main cast, which was Captain Burton, Mark Wilson, who was basically like an engineer, a billionaire engineer, tech engineer. Then you had Dan Erickson, who was the co-pilot. Then you had Barry Lockridge, which was like this, oh no, he was just the kid on the plane. And then you had Valerie Scott, who was like this famous actress. Betty Hamilton, which was a woman who was like the stewardess, who also had like a nursing degree. And then you had Alexander Fitzgerald, which was the con man. Now, the show always displayed him in the credits as a special guest. I guess he was pretty well known back then. I never heard of him, the actor that played him. But in almost all the episodes, he's the one who causes the trouble. He always gets everybody in trouble, the whole crew. The story is, for whatever reason, they're supposed to be in the, this is done in the 60s, and they're supposed to be in the late 80s, or early 80s, I don't know, late 84, 85, 86, 86, somewhere around there. It's supposed to be the time frame. It's supposed to be the future. And supposedly they have these ships that can fly through space to get places faster on Earth. Anyways, they're in one of these ships on their way to London from the United States when they go through like this warp hole or something in time and space. And it sends them to another planet where everybody's giants. They're basically humans. They're just giants. They become, the Earthlings become little people. That's what they call them throughout the entire show. At first I was okay with all this until it became apparent that they were going to go through this all the time. Almost every episode, the giants supposedly are like evil. They're vindictive. They meet 2 or 3 good people that are giants throughout the series, but mainly they're always horrible. They're always running from this group called the SID or NID or something like that, some type of police force that are ordered by this planet's government to find little people, because apparently little people have technology that they want, and 2, they label them, they use the media to propaganda, give some propaganda to the people on this planet that the little people, number 1, are extremely violent and dangerous. They're there to invade, preclusion to an invasion of their planet, and 2, they will give like this huge reward for any little people they find. Now when the show first started, they make it seem like they're the only Earthlings that's crashed on this planet, but over time they meet a few other Earthlings, little people that are on the planet, which makes no sense supposedly, since they're supposed to be the only ones on the planet. Another thing that got to me was the show is always, naturally they use many of the same props over and over again, but the fact that they're 90% of the show, they're always in this park area, like all the time. Once in a great while, they have a couple episodes where they're in the city or in the town, but 90% of them, they're always in this park with a bunch of leaves and shit that they can hide in and blah blah blah. And somehow the giants always see them eventually. It's just, it got ridiculous after a while. What they should have done is they should have changed it up a little bit. Like, they're not always on a planet with, giants. Like, the next time they go to a different planet, they escape, they get the ship fixed, because they never fix the ship, ever. Never happens. Even though they've had plenty of opportunity. They've even had a couple of giants try to help them, and you would think that, they would let the giant take them home, to where they won't be seen in the forest, and the giant could help them get parts for their ship and blah blah blah. But that never happens. It's like, what the fuck, Anyways, they never fix the ship ever. But I would think, they should have let them fix the ship at some point in time. They start to take off, and when they find the warp field or whatever again, instead of sending them back to Earth, it sends them to a different planet, and things are different there, however the show wanted to do it. But not just giants all the time. It was kind of redundant. But The acting was alright, wasn't bad. It was interesting at first. Like I said, it got kind of nauseating because they kept doing the same shit over and over. And Fitzgerald, or Fitzu, sorry, not Fitzgerald, Fitzu was always 90% the cause of their problems. Had a couple episodes that were fairly interesting, but at the end, nothing ever happened. They never leave the planet, and they ended the show. So, was it alright for a one-time watch? Yes. I give it a thumbs up, thumbs down. It was okay. Wasn't horrible. Wasn't bad. Especially for an older show. If you really like sci-fi, you should at least watch it at least once. Just to check it out. Alright. Let's get on to your B-movie reviews.
Then I dash away from Popo. Yeah, sex around my grass, they want my dodo. But I keep a 40, they don't know, no.
Okay, movieaholics. This week is Action Week. Now, I'm going to continue on with the next two slots for this series. There were 4 done. I already did the first 2 a while back. You can check out my videos and see the review of the first 2. But this time we're going to do part 3 and part 4. The first one, which is from the Lethal Weapon series. Now, the third one was done in 1992, and it pretty much killed it at the box office. It made $322 million worldwide, and that was really good back then. Now you have an addition to the cast from the original 2. You know, Joe Pesci, Danny Glover, Mel Gibson. They added on another person called, her name is Renee Russo. Martin, Riggs. Mel Gibson's character lost his first wife. In the second one, he gets with this chick, and then she ends up getting killed. And then he kind of ends up getting with this one, Renee Russo. She is with Eternal Affairs. And this whole movie is about an ex-cop who is dealing in weapons which he is stealing from the police department. Renee Russo is investigating this case, but because Roger, or Danny Glover's character, ends up shooting a gang kid that he happens to know, happens to be a friend of his son, he ends up shooting him in a gunfight and killing him. So they're, in a way, this movie's trying to get a little political. They start getting a little political in this one because they're trying to point out the whole, the gangs in the 90s was really bad. The whole gang thing. They all thought they had to have guns instead of, fighting with their fist. They thought guns made them all powerful and they could shoot and kill people. It was a real problem in the 90s. It was really, really bad. Anyways, like I said, they tried to get a little political with that crap by pointing that out. They eventually, of course, catch the bad guys and kill them off. Now, Joe Pesci's character, as you watch these movies, Joe Pesci's character kind of, it kind of goes through an evolution. He's a laundering thief in the second one. Then in this one, he's become like a real estate agent. He's trying to sell Roger's house, help him sell Roger's house, which he's not doing too well at first. But anyways,
You know who I am?
Anything you say.
that's pretty much the gist of the movie. Bad ex-cop, they go after him selling trafficking guns. Oh, they also mentioned the cop killer bullet. They were specially making bullets that could penetrate like vest armor and shit like that. Bulletproof armor. That was going on too in the 90s. So they mentioned that too. But anyways, they end up catching the guy. Rene Russo's character almost dies, but doesn't. Her and you know, Riggs or Mel Gibson's character get together. Yada yada yada. All ends well. And then we move on to the fourth one. Now, Lethal Weapon 4, it was done in 1998. It didn't do too bad, but not as good as the third one. It made about $285 million, which is kind of strange because they brung Jet Li in as the villain in the fourth one. You have another character addition to the family when they bring Chris Rock in, who becomes Danny Glover, or Roger, the character Roger, becomes his son-in-law. He's married to Ryan, but Danny Glover, his character Roger, doesn't know that at first. At the beginning of the movie. At the beginning of the movie, Mel Gibson's character doesn't realize that he's actually going to be a father, and Roger, Danny Glover's character, doesn't realize he's going to be a grandfather, because apparently Renee's pregnant. But again, he doesn't know who the father is. Later on, you see, like 6 months later, Rene Russo's pregnant. They're kind of talking about marriage, but they're not sure if they really want to do it or not. You know, Riggs isn't quite sure if he wants to move on yet. Joe Pesci's character later has a little talk with him, and he kind of, okay, I'll marry her kind of situation. You know, he gives him a pep talk about it. Way later in the movie, towards the end of the movie. Anyways, this one is basically about human slave trafficking. The Chinese are trafficking human slaves, and the triad's involved, which Jet Li is a part of the triad. He's kind of the boss. He's trying to get out the 4 members who started the triad. One of them happens to be his older brother, and he's trying to get them out of Chinese prison. He makes a deal with the Chinese general, to get them out of prison for so much money. Unfortunately, Jet Li is using counterfeit money, and of course, Riggs and Murtaugh go and tell the general what Jet Li's doing, and it comes, there's a big fight towards the end. Now, in order to make the money, Jet Li is using this Chinese guy who's the uncle of a family that Murtaugh finds on a boat, who were brought over to make this guy, you know, counterfeit money for him. You know, he's like an artist or some shit. Jet Li ends up killing them, both them guys, but the rest of the family's okay. Just the main grandfather and his uncle, which is the one who was making the funny money. Anyways, he kills them. He kills the other bad guy that they're all after, which they call Uncle Benny. And then, like I said, then we lead up to where they get in a big fight towards the end, a gunfight, and then they end up killing his older brother. So they end up having a big old fight scene at the very end with Jet Li and them two. They, of course, come out on top. Jet Li dies, and everything's all good. They have the babies at the hospital. Renee's character and Riggs get married. Murtaugh finds out that Butters, or Chris Rock's character, is actually his son-in-law. Everything works out fine, blah, blah, blah. They have the two babies at the end. And then they do some family shots, pictures at the very end with, some of the shots from the past movies. And that's the end. Really great movie. Excellent. Both these movies are very excellent. 2 thumbs up for both movies. Check them out. You won't be disappointed. This is one of the best action cop buddy series you'll ever find or watch. Now, also, one other thing I want to explain about the 4th movie. Like I said, they were starting to get political in the 3rd one. They get pretty political in this one. They start pushing the whole no more guns crap bullshit. In this one, you'll see posters of them, how guns are killing babies and blah, blah, blah. And it's just not true. It was false. Guns don't kill babies. It's people that kill babies or kill other people. They just used a tool that's called a gun. Big difference. What was the other thing? Oh, the whole illegal immigration thing. Danny Glover, he has this big scene where he's all like, I'm freeing slaves. That's how I feel about doing this, bringing them over here illegally and helping them out and blah, blah, blah. I have no problem with people who come over here legally. If you go through the process like everyone else has done before you, I have no problem if you come over here legally. But if you come over here illegally, you break our laws, you don't deserve to ask for asylum and get to stay and all that bullshit. Fuck off. Come through legally. Our ancestors did, and so should you. He's talking about freeing slaves because nobody else helped free slaves back in the day. Well, I'm afraid to hate to tell you this, Danny Glover, but white people are the ones who fucking freed slaves back in the day. It was black people who made them slaves, who made your own people slaves. It wasn't white people. Slavery is still going on today. But guess what? Black people still making people slaves. Their own people. You don't believe me? Go look across the seas. But it was white people who freed slaves. But he's trying to make a big thing out of it. Like I said, they went really political with all that crap. Like we should ignore our laws and just let anybody come in here. It was just dumb. Well, that whole thing there was dumb. But anyways, like I said, you come over here legally, no problem. You gotta go through the process just like everybody else did before you. You don't get to cheat the system. That's not how it works. No hand-me-outs. I'm sorry. It doesn't work that way. You gotta work for it. Anyways, that's all I have for you this week. Check those 2 movies out. They're really good. Funny action movies. Like I said, 2 thumbs up. Check them both out. That's all I have for you this week. If you have any thoughts about what I talked about earlier in the video, please leave your comments down in the section down below, or your thoughts. I'd love to hear from you. If you have any suggestions, or you can think of any movies I've never heard of, some underrated B flicks or whatever, please leave your suggestions down in the comment section down below. I'll get to reviewing them as soon as I can. So until next time, I told you be told the truth, and you just been told.